Let me ask you something straight up. When the President of the United States stands next to a foreign leader, hands out praise, threatens war, trashes the Fed chair he personally appointed, and accepts a foreign peace prize, all in the same breath, are we watching leadership or are we watching a warning sign? Because what just happened at this White House meeting wasn't normal. It wasn't calm, and it definitely wasn't boring. This may go down as one of the most revealing moments of Trump's second term, and most people are missing why it matters. So stay with me, because once you hear the full picture, you won't see U.S. foreign policy the same way again. And if you value real breakdowns without cable news spin, smash that like button and subscribe to Breaking Supporters right now. Alright, let's reset the board. President Trump meets with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu at the White House. Cameras roll, reporters gather, and what was supposed to be a focused discussion on Gaza and the ceasefire turns into a whirlwind. Trump criticizes Jerome Powell, calling him a fool, the same Jerome Powell Trump appointed during his first term.
You were criticizing the Federal Reserve Chair before coming to this summit.
Yeah, I think he's terrible.
I was wondering if you've begun interviewing different candidates for the Fed pick.
Yeah, I know within 3 or 4 people who are going to pick. I mean, he goes out pretty soon, fortunately, because I think he's terrible. He's an average mentally person. I'd say low in terms of what he does, low. Low IQ for what he does, okay? Wait, so instead of paying $900 billion, we don't want to pay 900 just because he doesn't want to lower the rate. I said, if there's inflation in 2 years or 3 years or 1 year from now, you raise the rate and you take care of the inflation, among other things. But he's probably a very political guy, I guess. I don't know. I think he's a very stupid person, actually.
He announces he's been awarded the Israel Prize, becoming the first American ever to receive it. He says Israel has lived up to the Gaza ceasefire plan 100%. He warns Hamas to disarm quickly or face devastating consequences. He threatens to eradicate Iran's nuclear infrastructure if Iran restarts activity. He says he doesn't believe Xi Jinping plans to invade Taiwan. That's not a meeting recap. That's a geopolitical earthquake. And the question Americans should be asking is simple. Who is this meeting really for? Let's talk Gaza first. Trump says Phase 2 of the ceasefire should already be underway. Disarm Hamas, rebuild Gaza, establish post-war governance. But then he flips the tone and says Hamas has very little time to disarm or things will be horrible. That's not diplomacy language. That's pressure language. And here's what's key. Trump publicly states that Israel has fully complied with the plan 100%. That matters because behind the scenes, there's been reporting that Netanyahu may be slow-walking Phase 2. So when Trump says that on camera, he's not just stating an opinion. He's giving Netanyahu political cover. And Netanyahu needs it. Israeli elections are coming. Optics matter. Then comes Iran. Trump says he's hearing about possible nuclear activity. And if Iran restarts, he says the U.S. will have no choice but to eradicate Iran's nuclear infrastructure. That's not hypothetical language either. That's a red line. Military and foreign policy experts jump in. They say Phase 2 hinges on something nobody wants to touch. An interim security force inside Gaza. No major countries are volunteering troops. Not the U.S., not Europe, not regional powers. Because putting boots on the ground in Gaza is a nightmare scenario. So what we have right now isn't peace, it's a pause. On Iran, analysts note something critical. Last time, U.S. strikes came after Israel had already dismantled Iran's air defenses. If Trump strikes again, the risk calculus changes. Coordination matters. Timing matters. Escalation matters. And politically, Trump tends to double down on what he sees as past wins. Which raises a real question. Is this about preventing nuclear weapons or cementing a legacy? Now let's go to the comments, because this is where the real temperature shows. One of the top comments says, "War criminals planning further war crimes together." That's anger, pure rage. And whether you agree or not, that sentiment is everywhere right now. Another says, "Both these men are a menace to the world. Watching them stroke each other's egos was gross." That's not policy criticism. That's moral exhaustion. Then there's sarcasm. Netanyahu's 5th U.S. visit this year. At this rate, his frequent flyer miles will buy more bombs. Dark humor, but it reflects frustration. Someone else writes, "It's demoralizing as an American watching our president get dog-walked by foreign leaders." That one stings, because it speaks to national pride. Another comment, "Productive meeting? Productive for whose bank accounts?" That's distrust of everyone. And then you get ideological fire. Freedom for Palestine. Short, loud, direct. And finally, one that sums up the mood. We live in a circus led by a clown. Supportive, angry, cynical, confused, it's all here. If any of these comments reflect how you're feeling, drop your own thoughts below. I want to hear from you. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Trump governs through leverage and optics. Praise is currency. Threats are leverage. Silence is strategy. By publicly praising Netanyahu, Trump strengthens him domestically. By threatening Hamas and Iran, he reinforces deterrence. By criticizing Powell, he signals economic dissatisfaction. By accepting the Israel prize, he aligns himself symbolically. None of this is accidental. But here's the risk. When everything becomes transactional, credibility becomes fragile. Allies listen. Adversaries listen. Markets listen. And Americans are left wondering whether U.S. power is being stabilized or personalized. Here's what to watch closely. Does Phase 2 of the Gaza plan actually begin or stall? Does Hamas disarm or does violence resume? Does Iran test Trump's red line? Does Netanyahu leverage this moment into electoral momentum? And does Trump continue escalating rhetoric or pivot back to deal-making? The next 60 days matter more than the last 6 months. So I'll leave you with this. Was this meeting leadership or theater? Strength or symbolism? Peace-building or positioning? Because history doesn't judge intentions. It judges outcomes. If you found this breakdown valuable, smash the like button. It helps more than you think. Subscribe to Breaking Supporters for daily U.S. political commentary that doesn't insult your intelligence. And drop your take in the comments. Agree, disagree, challenge me. The debate matters. Next video, we're diving into what this means for U.S. elections and global stability, and you're not going to want to miss it. This is Breaking Supporters. Stay informed. Stay engaged.